So we are taking our Unit 3 assessment today. It is in the Unit 3 assessment folder on Schoology, just like the previous assessments up to this point. When you go into that folder, you'll see that there are 3 entries within that folder. The first one is just a tip in that it's telling you that you are going to need both of the next 2 open in separate tabs. So what I would recommend doing is just right-clicking on each and opening each in their own tab. You will need to go through and kind of click back and forth between them. So on the Unit 3 assessment, okay, it is the same as what we've looked at up until this point. Okay, it starts off with just telling you what standard we're working on. Normally there would be a break in the test as you move from standard to standard. This unit, there's only one standard, develop a budget. So relatively easy. The first 7 or 8 questions are all multiple choice. So select the best one. When you get to number 11, this is where you will use that spreadsheet. And so that's why you want to have this last link opened up separately in another tab. So when you click on that, all right, you'll need to access your document here. I'm going to zoom in so it's a little bit easier to view. So you'll notice the setup is exactly like what we've been using previously with our other worksheets, our other spreadsheets, in terms of Kevin Malone has his plan for the month already set out in column B. What you'll need to do is take this information, his earnings information, put that up here in the actual earnings. All right. And then his spending for the month is down here. You'll put that in the actual spending. You'll notice that all of the differences are already factored in. So right now he hasn't earned any money. He planned on earning $51.95. So he's $51.95 under budget. Essentially, as we enter that information though, you'll see that goes to 0. Down here, for example, food at the grocery store, $3.25. Let's say, for example, he spent $3.75. All right. So this will automatically change and show that he's $50 over budget. If he's under budget, meals at restaurants, for example, he budgeted $100. Let's say he only spent 70 there. You'll see that he's $30 under budget. All right. And so this will also have a tally in line 55 where the total expenses. So far I've added just those 2. You can see that those have been added up. And then this is the sum of all of those differences. As these differences change, right, that difference will change as well. So let's say credit card payment, he planned on putting $450 toward paying down his credit card. Let's say that he actually put $550, right? When I press enter, this number is going to go up, that number will change, and this number will change. All right. So again, I don't know. I'm just putting those numbers just as examples. Those aren't the correct numbers. So don't think that I'm giving you answers in those cells. All right. Just as a reminder, when we're working with Excel, we can change any of these cells, any of these little boxes are their own calculator. So for example, let's say medical care, right? Let's say that he went and purchased prescriptions several different times. The first time it was $12. Then the next time was another, let's say $11. I can come back in here and double click to edit that cell, or I can just select it and come up to this formula bar up here, and I can say plus 11. Now, at first, the cell doesn't know what to do with this. You need to, within that cell, put an equals sign in front. That signals to Excel, or to, in this case, Google Sheets. Putting an equal sign in front signals that this is a calculation and not just text entry. All right, so by putting that equal sign, now it's actually calculating equals 12 plus 11. And then let's say he had one more prescription for, let's say, $9.50. I can add that in plus $9.50, and that'll calculate further. All right, so use that to your advantage. So what I would recommend is, as you're going through this, just go line by line. And if you get to an entry, right, as you're going down, if you get to an entry that already has a number in it, so for example, the first time I just entered 12, if you went back to the pharmacy and purchased something else, I'd come back here, realize that there's already a number here. Now I can double click this. I can change this to equals, and again, plus 11, and so on. Double click if I want to edit it directly in the cell, or I can just click once and come up to that formula bar. All right, and then again, I could add something else. So use that to your advantage. So as you're going down this list, right, you don't need to like search for every one within that category. Just if you just enter each number, and then as you come to a cell, if you already have entered it once, just add that equal sign, and then you can do plus the whatever the next purchase is. All right. So that'll be the spreadsheet that you'll use for numbers 11, 12, and 13, I believe. Yeah, for these last three, you'll use that information. All right. When you're done, make sure that you submit both the assessment from Schoology and the spreadsheet. So mine looks a little bit different because you got the teacher's view here instead of the student view. You'll have a link right here that says my document. And then when you're done, I think you've got a submit button right over here. Make sure that you submit both of those. If you only submit one or the other, it creates problems. So make sure that you submit both when you're done.